What's one of the first things that your mother would say to you when you sneezed or coughed as a kid growing up? More than likely, one of the first things she would say is to cover your mouth. I was taught to cover my mouth with my hand, which is actually kind of gross when you think about it, because you touch everything in your environment with your hand and you're putting those germs on everything. My kids were taught to sneeze or cough into the bend of their arm, which makes more sense because you're not touching everything with the inside of your arm. But why is it so important to not have this, to prevent the spread of germs? It's because of one of the viruses, and that is influenza virus. I've been a nurse for many years and have given thousands of flu shots and educated hundreds of people about the flu. I would like to go over what the flu is, how it is spread, signs and symptoms you will have if you get it, and flu prevention and treatment. First of all, the flu is a highly contagious, very smart virus that affects your respiratory system. It can lead to serious health complications and even death. According to a recent New York Times article, 80,000 Americans died from the flu complications this past flu season. There are 3 types of flu virus that affect humans, types A, B, and C. But there are many different strands of this virus because the virus is smart and can mutate its genes. The virus is very contagious. Since the virus is a respiratory virus, it is easily spread, and it is spread through air droplets that are released when a sick person sneezes, coughs, or even speaks. The air droplets can travel up to 6 feet in the air, and the person around them can get it in their nose, their mouth, or even breathe it into their lungs. It can live on hard surfaces for up to 48 hours. So think about this. Let's say you're in class and your instructor is sick and he coughs and you're within 6 feet. You then breathe that into your nose, and then you're walking around your environment for the next 1 or 2 days and you don't even know you're sick while the virus is in your body. Let's say you go to the restroom, you touch the doorknob, the light switch, the toilet handle, and the top of the sink. Now your sister goes in and she touches the doorknob, the toilet handle, and the sink. But when she's in the restroom, her nose itches, so she rubs her nose, and she has now introduced that virus into her body, and she is more than likely going to get sick. The virus is so contagious that according to a recent NBC News story, up to 700,000 people can go to the hospital with symptoms of the flu. Now that we've talked about what the flu is and how it is spread, let's talk about how you will feel if you get sick. The signs and symptoms will come on abruptly, like one day you feel fine and the next day you're down for the count. You will have high fever of 101 to 103, you'll have muscle ache and fatigue, you'll have chills because your fever is so high, and you can have sore throat, headache, and coughing. I've had patients tell me when they've been sick with the flu that they felt like they'd been hit by a truck. They felt so bad. If you do get sick, it's important to call your doctor's office on day 1 or 2 because you can have serious complications related to the flu. And those include pneumonia, inflammation of the muscles, the heart, inflammation of the brain, and you could have multi-organ failure. So to go over the signs and symptoms again, you could have fever, cough, sore throat, runny nose, extreme tiredness, headache, chills, and body aches. Now let's talk about the way you can protect yourself against this virus. The number 1 thing you can do is to get the flu shot. It is recommended for anyone's ages 6 months and older. The CDC would like to see 70% of the population get the flu shot, but in reality only 50% of the people do it. The flu shot is not a 100% guarantee that you will not get sick, since the virus is smart and can change its genes, but you have a 60% chance that you are protected. If you do get sick and you've had the flu shot, it's more than likely that your symptoms aren't going to last as long and you're not going to feel as bad. It's important to call your doctor's office on day 1 or 2 because they can prescribe an antiviral medication that also will shorten the length of your symptoms and the severity of it. There's not a lot that can be done once you get the flu, but it's important to stay home and isolate yourself from others in the house, get plenty of rest, drink plenty of fluids, and if you sneeze or cough, do it into a tissue, throw the tissue away, and wash your hands immediately. So for prevention, number 1 is vaccinate yourself, stay away from others if you're sick, use frequent hand washing, and take your medication if prescribed. In conclusion, I hope that you feel more educated about the flu virus now that the flu season is upon us. It is highly contagious and it is spread through air droplets. If you get sick, you will have fever, chills, muscle aches, and fatigue. In the future, it's best to get out and get your flu shot, and like Mama always said, cover your mouth when you sneeze or cough.